Hello and welcome to Talk Talent to Me podcast channel, hosted by Hoyamal Recruitment. We speak to businesses in the Middle East about their journeys and the importance of identifying and cultivating talent to drive success. This week we meet John Lyons, Managing Director at Espace Real Estate. We speak about how Espace have created a positive mindset across the business during the COVID-19 lockdown, creating value to their clients by going the extra mile and being transparent about market conditions. We also cover how they recruit and motivate their sales team and create a great culture where people can thrive. And finally, we discuss the stigma attached to working as an estate agent and recruitment consultant and how John sees this as an opportunity. John, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. How's everything going?
It's good, thank you. We're obviously nearing the end of the worst of the lockdown. So now that things are starting to ease up a little bit, I think an air of confidence is returning to everyone. So yeah, so far so good.
As you know, we want to talk about a little bit about you as a business, Espace as a business, and a bit about the journey, and particularly about your experiences with COVID-19 as in the real estate market, profoundly impacted the whole industry.
Yeah,
how are you dealing with that?
It's challenging, don't get me wrong. And before we went into the lockdown, maybe about 2 weeks before, we could see that a lockdown was potentially on the horizon. So we had contingency meetings with our management team to discuss what would the plan be if we did go into lockdown. And we spent quite a lot of time trying to think about what challenges and obstacles might be in our way. And we came to the conclusion that actually the first 2 weeks would have been probably okay. And then beyond that is when things have a risk of breaking down. And that's where we didn't know whether the remote working conditions would be sustainable over the longer period of time beyond a couple of weeks. But what we realized is that it was important to maintain structure for everyone in the business. So we obviously, like everybody, became very, very quickly with how to use Zoom and conducting team meetings on Zoom, bang on 9:15 every morning. Now, normally we were starting at 8:30 in the office. So we just delayed things a little bit. We didn't want to, have everyone turning up at 8:30 suited and booted. We have to obviously realize that it's a different environment. So 9:15 we started, and we tried to just maintain structure with team meetings every single day. Not the same team meeting, different team meetings with different focal points. And actually, I'm pleased to say that one thing we've really learned through all of this is that there are certain aspects of working remotely that have made us more efficient as a business. And Zoom is the best example of it. When we're having a team meeting with over 60 brokers who are all trying to talk about what are the hottest listings, the best properties in the market, if you do that in the office environment, one person in one side of the office cannot really hear properly, and a lot of stuff can get lost in that moment.
Yeah.
On Zoom, everyone is tuned in. Everyone is ready to speak. Everyone's on mute. One person speaks, and we're obviously using the share screen feature. So we can show the properties, we can do a presentation, and everyone can see it. So we've actually found that that's made us more productive in that particular example. So yeah, it's been good, and it makes us question, actually, when all of this is over, is there actually certain parts of this that we want to retain? Maybe we will work remotely every now and again, or for certain meetings, because as I said, Zoom is actually a very effective way of communicating with each other, especially when it's a big team. So it's something for us to think about. And the real risk of working remotely is that you fall into a trap of under communicating with your people, is what we think. So we did everything we could to over communicate, constantly look at communicating in a team, full company level. We had individual team meetings and one-on-one as well within within each team. The managers were having one-on-one calls as well. So, and we're still doing that. We're still working remotely right now. So, so far it's actually worked pretty well. And good. I would actually say that I'm much more positive about working remotely now than I was on day one. Much more positive about it. And I think probably the whole world has probably realized there's a lot more that we can do remotely than we thought we could do.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
from
In
small
every industry.
businesses. Yeah, exactly. You know, during the worst of the lockdown, obviously, it wasn't possible to do physical viewings. So we had to think outside the box. We had to identify clients actually that weren't necessarily, or that it wasn't essential that they viewed the property before putting an offer in and transacting. And there are actually many people out there that will buy a property without seeing it, not end users so much, or not, you know, but some investors or many investors will buy properties without seeing them. And if someone lives in that property, you can get them to do a video tour for you. And then you can obviously be the middleman that then sends that on. And, you know, a lot of communication can still take place on the phone. And also what was happening is almost the transaction worked backwards. So you can share a lot of information about a property without seeing it. Now, normally you view a property first, then you start thinking about all the other things that need to be right. Then you start negotiating the price. During this moment, we can do it backwards. We can say, look, there's the exact location. There's a Google Earth image of where it is. This is everything about the property. Here's where it's close to. Here's the floor plan. This is the price expectation. We can discuss the price. Here's a video tour. You can see the condition of the property. Let's agree the price in principle, and let's have all those negotiations. And then if you don't want to pull the trigger and sign the contract right now, we can have everything in place so that as soon as this is over, you just go and do a quick once over to see that actually it is what it looked like in the video. And then if you're happy with that, you can proceed. So that's not going to happen with everyone. And there's many clients, obviously, that would want to put their search completely on hold. But one of the things that we are very particular about is make sure you identify those clients that are happy to proceed in that way. And don't misallocate your time trying to talk somebody into a process that they're never going to be happy with. So
it's the same as recruitment. It's exactly the same, or I guess any sales role. Qualifying your lead. Now you're creating quality leads off the back of this. They're interested from day one because you're saying this is the price, this is the spec. Are we gonna, is this gonna convert? So that's interesting, really.
And it works. And we're not in the industry, or we're not a company that needs huge volume of transactions. So we know that there is enough transactions out there, even throughout the worst of the lockdown, for us to still survive. And the real objective was don't misallocate time trying to talk people into doing things that they don't want to do. So we changed ourselves. Really, we made it very clear to the team that we're not really salespeople. We're consultants. You're there to guide and advise and, maintain relationships. And when you do come across those clients that are happy to transact, even during this moment, then you're there to help them do that and to think outside the box to get it done. And those clients that are happy to take that extra risk obviously get a better deal.
And do you think this is happening across the industry? Are essentially your competitors doing the same thing? And have you seen them do things that actually you wouldn't do?
I'm not sure what the mindset will be within other companies. I'm sure that in all businesses there are pockets of positivity and there are also pockets of negativity. And I think the real opportunity throughout all of this has been to be where our competitors are not, which is to be really positive and really ambitious and really proactive in a time when it's easy to understand that many brokers out there in our industry might just down the tools and wait for this to pass. And I think that that's something we were very particular about not doing. It's easy just to down the tools and say there's nothing we can do, we can't do viewings, therefore there's no business to be done. And I think that yes, a lot of brokers will think like that. And we made it very clear to everyone that it's not the way that we need to think. And what was very encouraging is when one or two brokers in the company then go and actually close and transact on big sales, that changes everybody's mindset, and that creates this culture of positivity and a culture of success. And it's just like knocking over a domino. Then everybody thinks, oh, well, if they can do it, then I can do it. And you can just create this momentum internally, which is a really good vibe. And we seem to have managed to do that. Now, I'm not saying we've found it still tough, and we've not transacted on anywhere near as many properties as we would normally do in previous years.
Yeah, but you're not going to.
We're not going to, and nobody expected that we were. But we, I think, are all pleasantly surprised that we've done a lot more business than we thought we would have done when we were on day one of this. So it just shows you, if you can create that internal momentum and that real positivity and this sort of ambition to still go out there and try and get it done, it can definitely send waves through the office, and then you all of a sudden start to see that there is business there, definitely.
Obviously, we're a recruitment business, and the heart of what we want in these videos is talk about the people and talent as a whole. And by the sounds of things, the guys that you've got in your team across the business, whether it's the back office functions or the guys on the ground selling, sounds like they're all rising to the occasion. How do you go about finding talent in a competitive market? Your branding is very, very, I'm sure. Your branding is great as a company. Your employer branding, I should say. And what do you look for in people, and how? And I'm sure you've met some good and bad people in your industry.
It is extremely difficult, and I think actually one of the hardest things about what we do is trying to recruit good talent and trying to work out what is the recipe that is going to work for someone in real estate. And that's really challenging. And I'm not going to say that I've got some perfect book that just, tick these boxes and then you're in the door. We can recruit people who we think are going to be really good, and they end up not necessarily working out. So it's, but basically we do recognize at the sort of philosophy of the business is that our product as a business is our people, not the properties that we sell. So people say, what's your product? What do you sell? You sell properties, you rent properties. No, we don't really. We're in the people business. So we're trying to recruit really good people that can buy into our vision, share our vision in a very positive way. And then we're trying to, send them out to transact in the market. And ultimately what we're looking for is very resilient characters. We're looking for people who are competitive in nature. So they need to have competitive personalities. So if they've got some kind of example, whether it's in a sporting environment or any other environment where they've been competitive, that's quite a nice box for us to tick. And we want them to have a real thirst for knowledge. We want them to have a real willingness to learn. We don't want people to come in and say, I know everything. We love people that say, I know some things, but there's a lot more I don't know than I do know. So I'm willing to come on that journey and try and learn, myself included. And I think that when we find these people that really get onto that level with us, where we think, you're resilient, you're competitive, you're very likable, you've got a real willingness to listen and learn, and you're ambitious, then if you can tick all those boxes, then it's a very good starting point for our industry. That's a good place to start.
And how I think you do a good job of retaining your talent as well, by all accounts. And I love some of the stuff I've seen on Instagram and LinkedIn, where you're celebrating with the team. That's something we love to do here, and it kind of really helps build culture, do different activities with them. Small things, really small things, but actually they make such a difference to your team. They love it.
Yeah, I mean, we very much understand the fact that we're selling a lifestyle. We're not really just we're not selling a job, we're selling a lifestyle, especially because we all live as expats, or most of us do. We live away from our families. So when people are coming here from wherever they are, they want to come and join something that is more than just a job. And real estate is an industry as well, where the line between where work finishes, if I can call it work, and where your social life begins, that's a bit of a blurred line.
Yeah.
You know, so you doesn't mean we're not out there whining and dining clients. That's not how we work. But we want to make sure everyone comes to work and really enjoys what they're coming to do, because it's such a roller coaster of an industry that if you don't like what you're doing, you're not going to last very long. So all we do is try and create a really fun environment. Sort of, yeah, it's competitive, it's work hard, but it's got to be enjoyable. And I hate the idea of anyone that works at Espace ever waking up in the morning and thinking, I don't want to go to work. I like the idea that people think, I want to go to the office, it's good fun, I'm going to have a good bit of chat with my colleagues around the coffee machine in the morning. We've got a pool table in the office, we've got a PlayStation on the wall, or a screen on the wall with a PlayStation, and we know when to pick up the pool cue and when to put it down and put in some hard yards. So,
as you know, there's one thing I was interested to hear your thoughts about, is the stigma, shall we say, that perhaps comes with working in real estate. And I've definitely felt that being a recruitment consultant, and I believe it comes from poor experiences that people have had with subpar consultants or real estate guys. So what do you think about that? And because it's even in a social setting, and you're going for dinner or drinks or something, and oh, hi, what do you do? And I've worked outside of recruitment for a few years, and people were really interested. Oh, you work for this company, that's amazing. And then we're back in recruitment, they're like, I'm second-class citizen. Do you get the same a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. But I think, I see that as a massive opportunity, and I always have. From the day I moved to Dubai, I saw it as a big opportunity. There's no question that real estate is not a well-liked industry. We as globally, for longer than I've ever been in real estate, we've had a bad reputation as an industry. So,
yeah.
But that's in a way creates opportunity for people who are willing to do something that will surprise the client, and the client thinks, oh, you're not like typical estate agents. Whatever the typical estate agent is, you've got an opportunity to really go above and beyond and surprise on the upside. And I think we should just take it as it is. We're never going to be a loved industry, but we can be loved by our clients if we do a good job for them. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to do things that people wouldn't expect us to do. So people expect real estate agents to, I don't know, lie and not tell the truth about things, and try and fudge the market.
Yeah.
One of our key goals as a company is to offer transparency to the market, and that's where my webinar that I did with 3 colleagues, there were 4 of us on the panel. The whole purpose of it, you link it in, yeah. Sorry, a bit of a plug to the webinar, but the whole purpose of that was to give transparency and to give them the absolute real data showing what's actually happening during the lockdown in the Dubai real estate market. And I think clients watch that webinar and think they're actually showing us all of their company data about lead generation, about buyer registrations. The graph in some of these things is falling off a cliff. We're not going to say it's going up. It's not. It is going down. So that's what we're going to tell you. But we're going to analyze that data with you on the webinar, and you can decide if it's useful. And that again comes back to us thinking that we are consultants, not salespeople. Yeah. Salespeople, as you know, salespeople are wanting the deal next week. Consultants are wanting to add value, and the deal will come to them over time. So some clients might buy and sell from us for years and years and years. And that's more valuable than any one deal next week. So when we behave like that with our clients then are very pleasantly surprised that we're different to what they thought we would be like, given the bad reputation that real estate agents have. So hence why I say it's a big opportunity.
No, and honestly, that's not a setup. It's exactly how I think within our industry. Adding value to the client, going beyond little small things that I know no one else does. It sets you apart. And it's, again, as you say, it's that opportunity to surprise them and say, these guys are, they're looking after me. They're not looking for the quick win. they're understanding our business or our needs, and they're taking their time to do that in the right way and ethically. Ethics are a big thing. It always comes up with real estate, comes up in all sales roles.
Yeah,
but
but we're
being
never
known
going
as an
to.
ethical business is important.
Yeah, but we're never going to, around the dinner table, we're never going to have that impressive profession that we can sort
No.
of dine out on. So I'm kind of positive. I think that the authorities here are very pro-business, obviously,
Yes.
and everything that they are doing is pretty impressive in my mind. I think the lockdown was severe, and I think that was really good. And I think that the support that they gave to the banking system, I think it was a package of about 256 billion dirhams, 50 billion dirhams of actual cash put straight into the system themselves from the central bank. And we saw the immediate impact that that had on people's lives. People were calling up their bank and saying, I want 3 months deferred on my mortgage, and it just gets tagged on to the end. And that puts money in people's pockets when they most need it. So these sort of real pro-business support packages that the government have come out with will definitely make an impact. Now, I'm not saying it's like some of the Western countries. It's not like they're paying 80% of all of the salaries and things like that. But, I think there's still a lot that's being done. And I do feel like we can bounce back quite quickly. I feel like we can. That doesn't mean we will, but, we'll find out in due course. But I'm remaining positive, and hopefully if everybody else does as well, then there'll be good times ahead.
Great. Okay. Well, look, John, I really enjoyed speaking to you today, and I'm sure we'll do another call at some point. Hopefully, face to face. We can do a podcast whenever that may be, and talk more about the talent piece that I'm really interested in. But thank you today. It's been really interesting.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck for the rest of the year. And let's catch up soon.
Yeah. You too. Okay. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye.